Okay, dear ladies and gentlemen, next up we have a team that's tackling one of the world's most overlooked challenges, one faced by millions every year. So they questions the norms, challenge the barriers, and reimagine the path to recover. So without further ado, let's give a big round of applause for the minds behind this impactful innovation team itself from University of California. Team itself, welcome to the CodeSprint Grand Finale. So, before we're moving out to your pitch, I would like to know what inspired you to come up with this venture?
This is kind of a chance to represent our university and showcase what we have developed so far. And as a team from the background of electronics and computer science, what we can innovatively bring it to the market. So that's what this CodeSprint is really helpful for us.
Yeah, thank you for that words. So without further ado, let's move on to the pitch of the team itself from University of California.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. And we are from Itself Automation. So delivering clinical grade recovery without the clinical cost. So I'll tell you at the end why I'm stating this. So it's something really about the medicines and healthcare, yes. So let me tell you a small story that will make you more understandable. So you can see my mother here. So in 2023 January. So ischemic stroke, the situation happened. So until that point, we didn't know what is ischemic stroke and what it's going to be caused. I was able to help her until the short period of time for her rehabilitation process. Eventually, due to my academics and my workflow and everything, I wanted to give more commitments on outside of the family. So I couldn't be with her for her rehabilitations. What suddenly appeared, it's about the spasticity. So once these situations appear, the patient need to go in a reverse way to get a stable and proper rehabilitation process. So this is what arises in our mind. When she couldn't lift her hand, we lifted a mission. So this is what the mission is about. I'm not talking here everything about the personal. It's a global crisis. So second leading cause of death, which is ischemic stroke, I was talking about. And 90% of low income and middle income earned countries who have stroke issues, they don't have any idea about the rehabilitation. And also, before I finish this speech, 12 stroke death will occur, which means every 40 seconds someone is dying because of the stroke. So I'm giving you a clear statement, and then we decided and innovated the device stroke rehabilitation exercise called RehabX, which from Itself Automation, the mobile application which controls the entire rehab exoskeleton, which has been developed so far in the MVP level, which is helping the patients to do the rehabilitation process, and with the process they can check in which level they are in, and the ML validation will help them to state that the angle level they can maximum fold into. That will give you the progress check based on the RL feature as well. So here, how does it work? So the entire system here, control unit is controlling the entire part for the exoskeleton and also the sensors which helps to keep the patients to be regulated with the rehabilitations. So here we are giving stroke games to keep them more motivated with the rehabilitation process, and also giving RL-based patient independent recovery booster, which is come with the reinforcement learning, which will boost, okay, you do this exercise more than this count. This entire device is controlled by pneumatic technology. We are controlling that machine learning based and RL based technology towards the device and through the hardware. And then we have a ML based progress check and physiotherapy e-channeling to ensure how much they are progressing with the real time feedback from the physiotherapist. So that's why we planned these 4 features in our device. And moving forward, market opportunity we have seized. So 1 in 4 stroke survivors get proper rehab. So that is very rare when it comes to the like a big number. And rising demand, home rehabilitation up to 60% after COVID. So staying at home and do the rehabilitation to avoid the extra expenditures to give it to the physiotherapist, give it to the medical person for your travel expenses, everything. Averagely 15,000 has been spent for 1-day rehabilitation treatment. If you want to be in that process, you need to do 3 times exercise per day, which is simple extension and flexion of the muscles where the paralysis occur. And target regions is mostly about the South Asia, where most of the LMIC is present. And global rehabilitation market, 5.2 billion was last year. From 2030, we can achieve 7.6 billion, which is in rehabilitation sector, which is huge. And we are not changing everything. Usually stroke, then physiotherapy, then we come to the role. 3 times exercise, mobile control based on, and progress check, stroke games, e-channeling will add on the patient's progress level. Then you can follow with the progressing rehabilitation. And the plan coming with the $400 for the basic plan. The additional features I explained, which come in a premium plan, which costs $500 and $15 per month. You might have a question, in average salary of Sri Lanka, the person is like, they can get up to 60,000, if I'm not wrong. So in that scenario, we analyzed again our R&D in a business model analysis. We came up with the suggestion. So I'll tell you exactly the B2B2C margin 50%, give it to the authorized dealer and rebranding it and selling it. And B2C 75 to 85% in margin. Online sales and clinical distributions are our major calls using the medical endorsement. And here comes the role. So the rental 10% price per month for the Sri Lankan customers. So this is how we plan. So as for starting stage, we can give it in a rental perspective. And the device, once we sell it completely, we can refurbish it with the 50% of the price, get back from the customer, give it to the another customer. So these are the plans in the business model. And regulatory, we have recently applied our local patent. And clinical test with the hospital Ragama and private hospital Hemas, we are currently on a discussion of LOI. So other than that, the FDA, this is the class 1 device where the risk is considerably lesser than the other device. So that is one of the key. We have a US-based business advisor to help this in this prospective way. And go-to-market, it's about medical endorsement, 20% commission for the physiotherapist, and testimonials. So we are using physiotherapists as our marketing agents. So competitor analysis, cost friendliness, and home usage. You don't want to always depend on clinical usage, just home-based rehabilitation with the portability of the device. And moving forward, current rise up to $5,000 US we spend for MVP, prototype, so on, including the patent. And funding we are asking is for $200,000 in a return of 5% of equity, especially for FDA and clinical tests, seeking some angel investment and also strategic loan, even from the angel investors. So we are focusing on SDGs too, so refurbishing and reducing physiotherapist time. These are the areas we are covering. And move on with the collaboration is based on currently on a solid MVP and patent process, and moving forward clinicals, then FDA pre-submission, and global pilots partner onboarding, and then move on with the market expansion. And this is our team. I'm happy to introduce my team. And this is all about itself automation. And more than that, we have advisory team as well, which is coming from medical sector, also from business sector. From Sri Lanka and US, we have enough advisors as well. So these are some of the achievements we made so far, highlightable. Health Prize International, we are the Maiden International competitions national winner for Sri Lanka. And that's all. That's why we are delivering the clinical grade recovery without the clinical cost. I think I answered your questions in your mind. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you team itself for that amazing pitch and kind of amazing project that you are proposing. So judges, is there any questions, any suggestions for the project?
Yeah, what amazing innovation, and I think you guys have achieved so much in such a short period of time, especially in a very complex landscape which is anything associated with medical recovery. How many devices have you produced and are actually being used in pilot at this point in time?
So far we are in the stage of getting into the clinical usage. So what we have done is, my mother is the first one. So she came into the role. I asked her a support. So I asked her what are the struggles you are facing? And not only from her, we got 50 patients data who are currently facing the ischemic stroke issue. Using that, 90% of the issue, it's being stated, everyone facing the same issue. So they always wanted to depend on someone and always wanted someone to assist. So we kept it clear. So far, get into the clinical trials. So far, we built 3 devices. This is the final MVP we are showcasing. We are good to do the demonstration once if it is required. And this is the device we are talking with for the LOI perspective and also patent perspective. Once the patent is done, we are ready to test it with the real patients.
And so the biggest market for often medical devices is the insurers, because they're looking to reduce their costs in order to be able to then rehabilitate patients. Has there been any conversations with any of the local insurers in order to then see what their appetite is to bring this as part of their portfolio?
Exactly, great question. So I got this concern 6 months back when I was in India for one of the conference I was attending. Just regards this innovation. I met the person from Malaysia who is closely working in a rehabilitation process, and there he stated, in Malaysia, automatically you will be approved with a financial supports which based on insurance. You can get all the rehabilitation in free, you can cover it in your insurance. So that is the availability we are currently checking in Sri Lanka as well. In Malaysia, we got the guy, he will be our first B2B2C dealer in Malaysia.
Absolutely amazing. I was awestruck with your energy and the presentation and the product. Just one concern. You were referring to a 5% return on equity?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think you will get commercial funding at such low rates. I think you all have to reach out to a UN body or IMF, or IFC, or maybe ADB or a supranational organization who is willing to fund you at those rates. It's very unlikely that for a 5% return on equity you will receive venture capital or seed funding or commercial funding. That's the only feedback I have. But amazing product. I think you all have discovered something that is great, and I wish you all the very best and to continue what you're doing. All the best.
Thank you. That's a really nice feedback regarding the equity concerns. So far that also determined, we had a conversation initially with HEMAS. So the conversation is smooth so far. It depends on the clinical test. So we feel it's convincible. We can negotiable in an equity state, but not in the funds. The funding is the minimum level that we can acquire from the seed funding level. It's $200,000. HEMAS is a front runner, so we are happy to announce this here.
It's an amazing story, and it's really the mindset of taking adversity and doing something bigger is extremely commendable. So I think it's really amazing, right?
Thank you.
Can you demo that? Is it something that you can show us?
Sure. Hima. So here we have a mobile application which is developed from our end. Initially we made only the machine-based control. Now we move into the IoT-based mobile control. So here we are operating the device using the mobile app control currently.
So at different levels of strength, can you adjust that? So because some will not be able to move it at all, how does that get adjusted?
Yeah, actually we are controlling using the entire pneumatic motors, which will adjust the level of the pressure which is released from the machine according to the patient's ability to lift their hand. So when it comes to the stage of flexidity of the patient, that will be completely lost of the moment. In that stage, someone should be there to assist it. just moving forward, they have to also come forward to give some movements, not only the machine. So gradually we have to reduce the pressure which is generated from the device to handle it safely in our research process in our university, and also through our R&D team. We have a clean idea to apply it in a patent.
So right now it's not able to understand how much of support it needs to give as a device.
So far, initially we have a capture movement called in machine learning based. Before the progress start, we will ask the patient to turn on the camera in our application through that. So they will ask to given a time, whether it is 2 to 3 minutes, then they will fold their hands. So we will measure the angle, what is the maximum angle they can fold. From that perspective, we will get the real data, okay, this patient in a very low active condition, or else medium active condition, or high active condition. So the angle from 0 to 110 is the range. So in between the angle we classified. That's why we use the machine learning algorithm to predict in which stage they are in. According to their stage, we will increase the pressure in 4 levels: medium, low, high, and very high.
What else is, there's a lot of exoskeletal devices out there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are stuff around this, right? Are there anything out there in the market? What's your competition?
Yeah, here is the competitor analysis. Gloria, so they are cost-friendly wise little bit concerned, like what we say, it is a bit of committed device. Entirely it's depend on the clinical usage. So every time you have to go to the hospital to do that. So we have to consider the cost to reduce, make it as a home usage device with the clinical performance. And samely Neofact doing some robotic based device which is entirely mechanical and robotic concepts. And Myomo doing something related to the pneumatic technology, same, making the gloves. So their price is little bit expensive, but in the perspective of you can't get it to the home, you always want to depend on physiotherapy clinic and physiotherapist. That's why. So that's how we are separating. You just get the instruction from physiotherapy through the e-channeling, do it from home itself.
Right. Good stuff. And I think you guys have gone more deeper into the MVP and all of that. Best of luck. Absolutely great stuff, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Yeah, once again, thank you, judges, for that amazing questions and the suggestions for the team. Thank you, team itself, for being us here on the stage, the CodeSprint's grand finale.